Korea?
Japan. Korea's in the top 5. So it's very interesting when you start to put all the data pieces together, what's going on. Top 10 languages. So it just depends. Globally, English is still number 1, followed by Chinese. But it's not long before the aggregate Chinese population will take over. You can start to see how many users and where the language are. It's like 5 of the top 10 are in Asia. So we can look at these and help us understand what the market sizes are. It was interesting, I did a keynote in Amsterdam 2 weeks ago, and everybody in the room was trying to figure out how to market outside of Amsterdam because there's 17 million people, and most of them have already been saturated by multiple companies. So they're like, we now have to go to other markets, Italy, Spain, and places like that. So many countries are already starting to think about how to go abroad. Top 10 by internet usage, obviously China, US, Japan, so start again, same type of mixture. So why go global? I mean, these are some of the questions you ask yourself. Beyond the obvious business, what does your log file tell you? So how many people have went in either to Google Analytics or some log file and look to see what countries are coming to you today? If you haven't done that, go take a look at it. And if, and that's a function of ranking and things like that, but look and see. If it's Italy, if it's Russia, if it's some other market, look at that first. There's already a level of exposure for that market. And it's very interesting when people see, and then where are people booking? That's another interesting, who's buying from you today? And look at that type of data. Where can you support a language? This is the thing, is that, we all hear that people, affluent people around the world, yes, most of them can speak English. Unfortunately, they have about the same level as we have with high school French or high school Spanish. We go to Spain and we do everything we can to find people that speak English so we don't have to use that. Everybody else is like that too. So things like that we need to think about. Demand. The other thing is, an example was a very large electronics company. We did a 20-country study. We used the keywords and we looked to see, like I'll show you in a moment, how many people were looking for these products. And 2 countries popped out. One was Thailand. So we took their entire product list and went to see, using local words, how many people were searching for this. And in Thailand, probably the most sought after electronic product after TVs was blenders. There's a very rapidly growing middle class, and one of the status symbols people want is a blender. And so this company, all their signals, all their research data had no indication blenders were going to be popular. This keyword data, they added it to their Thai website and started selling blenders like crazy. Not only in retail stores, because people were bringing in the paper and taking it into retail, but actually online. The other one, Uzbekistan. What do you think they wanted in Uzbekistan? We're just now seeing them in the US. It's the freezer on the bottom refrigerators. It's sort of the Korean and Japanese style refrigerator. They were searching very aggressively for this kind of refrigerator. And so, right away, they were selling these. This company was one of the few people making them and selling them. They found this opportunity, got it into the distribution system, and it became one of their best-selling products in that country, all because they saw the demand in the keyword research. So very, very effective ways to research key markets. 2 tools that are out there. One is actually a brand new tool. How many people have seen Google's export tool? It's sort of covertly hidden. Not ready for prime time. But essentially what you go in, you simply plug in, your product name and in what country you're in. They use some of the translation of your words for you. And it simply brings up, by country, roughly the search volume and the average cost per click. So in this case, laptops, it's showing the United States. Turkey is in there. Turkey's actually number 10. But South Africa was a market that they're suggesting you might want to go after. Austria, Russia, Italy, France. And so it's a very quick tool, on a top level to understand if there's opportunity in a particular market. The other one that I don't see enough people using is the actual Google keyword research tool. I was talking to some people the other day, and of the 10 people sitting at the lunch table, only one knew you could change the country language. Because why? We're all trained to come to that little search box, put in our word, put in the captcha code, and bam, there we've got our list of words. They never thought to change and see, like in this case, I put in German and Germany, and then put in digital camera, and it told me that 60,500 people in Germany were using the English phrase digital cameras. Now, if I knew the German phrase, I could put that in and see how many people were doing the query in Germany. A guy the other day that I met on the airplane actually was doing, they were these small, they were like brass lights, brass lighting. And then when I got off the plane, he said, yeah, we're going gangbusters in like 10 countries. We just had the site translated with Google Translate. We're ready to go, but we're still buying paid search with all of our English words. And so I put this in. There's this name for these lights. I used that name, and there was like 20 searches in Spain in English. So here he is wanting to know why his paid search campaign's not working, and he's using an English word that's not used in Spain. So, I mean, these are some of the sort of silly things that we do, thinking that, oh, this is the name for the product, so people will go search on it. So we've got to do the research. The tools are here, but we just need to use them.
Do you have any sense as to if someone were searching in Germany and using an English term, what would happen if you used the German language ad?
We've seen in some cases it's very effective. You know, they'll have a phrase, and then because they're in Germany, the problem is that, you know, it could be a foreigner doing it, but there are probably fewer of them. But it is very effective on a U.S. word, English word, to put the local content, especially people that knew to use them. You know, we can't assume that putting in digital cameras in Germany means they speak English,
right,
but they just know that phrase. So yeah, using the local language is very effective. One of the things that I suggest people do is you get 6 different pieces of ad creative you can use. Do 3 and 3. Do 4 and 2. Try an English one, try a local language one, and just see what works. Probably the quirkiest market that I've ever had to deal with is Russia. Any Russians here? Russian engineers. Russian engineers, they drove us crazy at IBM. Why? Because they do the query in Russian, come to a Russian page, but want the English language documentation. And so we did a focus group in Russia and actually found that they didn't trust the translation. They used their knowledge in the local language to get to a destination, but then used that to back into the English language version and read it in English because they understood what it said to them. So it was a very interesting dilemma. Do we, send them to a Russian landing page and put both English and Russian? So we figured out that was the right mix. Russian words, Russian landing page, and both English and Russian versions of the PDF. And then it was like 70-30 in many cases which one that they would download. So try things.